Today we look at inequalities as they relate to domain and range. So let's use two different color pencils. I'm going to, for my x values, let's make this, come on, red. X values for the domain will be in red, and then for my y values and range, I'm going to use green. So let's look at how we determine these. Alright, so to find my x values, I need to be able to cross, and I'm going to make a box. This is the farthest left, and it goes down that far. And then this one starts here and it goes up that way. So the vertical lines I'm drawing for my x's, and then we're going to go here and as far down as it goes is right there. Alright, so for my domain, what I'm going to do is my domain is always my x. So I'm going to look, and it's going to be greater than, what does it point to over here? It points to -3. So since that is an open circle, I do not put the equal sign underneath. Less than, I can look at this line and it comes up and it crosses right there at 3. I should have showed you this one crosses at -3 on the x-axis. This one crosses at 3, but it has a solid dot, so I'm going to put my equal sign and then 3. What that means is x's go from here to here. Now my y's, they go from here to here. So that means that's my highest value, that's my lowest value. So I'm going to put my y here. I can put these because I know I'm going to use those. I don't know yet if I'm going to put a line under it. So I go to my lowest one and I look, is there a solid dot? Yes. So I'm going to put it here, and I'm going to put -3 because that's my lowest y value. I'm going to go to my highest y value. That's right here. The point that matches that is this. It is not filled in, so I'm going to do that. All right. Let's go to number 2. So my red line, it goes from here all the way through to there, and from here all the way to there. So I know +6 and -8. So I can do this. X, draw these two just like that every time. -8 will go here. +6 will go here. Now let's look. The line at -8 goes to a solid dot, so I can put my line under there. At 6, it goes down to an open dot, so I'll leave it like that. Now on my y's, this is the highest point that it goes to. Notice how I'm making a box. If you're not making a box, you're probably doing something incorrectly. My largest y value, or my greatest y value, is 6. My least y value is -8. So I'm going to put my y, and I can put these two because I know no matter what, it's going to be there. So my least is a -8. And then I'm going to look, and at -8, where it touches any part of that line, it's an open circle, so I do not put the equal sign. Come up here to 6. I'm going to come across. I see it touches a solid dot, so I can put that and my 6. All right, let's go back up to 3. Let's do our x's. So actually our x's, that's the only one, because these do not stop this way. They do not stop. So, 2 ways I can write this. X, now I touched the line right there. It is on the line, and it is a solid line. So I'm going to put is greater than or equal to -2. That means anything that goes that way. And that's the way I want you to do it. Now for our y's, is there a value going up that our y's stop? No. Is there a value for our y's going down that stops? No. So for our y's, our y's equal all real numbers. And you can write it like that. Y equals all real numbers. Now let's look at this one. Is there a place where our x's ever stop on the left hand? No, you see this is an arrow, that means it goes on forever. How about stopping on the right? It's an arrow, it's going on forever. So in this case, let me bring this up. Our domain is x equals all real numbers. Now, is there a certain point where our y's stop, either going up or going down? It's yes. It's this point. It's right here. It's a solid line, so it includes 4, but they're all less than 4 or equal to. So y is less than or equal to 4. All right. Let's try number 5. Our domain will be the vertical lines that go through our points. There is a stopping point on the left, a stopping point on the right. So I can write x, and then I can put these. It goes through -3 there. It goes through +3 here. This is a filled in dot on the low one. It is a filled in dot on the high one. So we put our equal sign. For our y values, I start at my highest point. Yes, there is a highest point, and my lowest point. So I have here 3 and -3. So I can put in y. I can make these. My lowest or my least is -3. My greatest value for y is 3. This line goes over to a solid dot. The top line goes over to a solid dot, so they both have those. All right. Now, number 6 is not nearly as complicated as you might think. Let's draw our lines. This doesn't go any higher than that. It goes through -4 right there. And it goes through 4 right there. since this is a solid line, and we'll make a distinction between solid and dotted later, it does include that. So we can always draw these. It's a solid line, so I'm going to include it there, include it there. It goes all the way over to -4 and all the way up to +4. And then when we do our y values, come across, come across. Our lowest value is -3. Our greatest value is 3. So I can always start like this. I can write -3 because that's the least. 3. It's a solid line, so I'm going to draw my equal sign, and a solid line up top, so I draw my equal sign. It says, does the graph in question 6 represent a function, y or y not? Well, let me use a different color. I'm going to use blue. Now, if I drew a line, a blue line, from the top to the bottom of my graph, I would look. Now that blue line, does it touch the graph of what they were determining if it's a function or not in more than one place? Yes, it touches there, and it touches there. So if it touches in more than one place, it is not a function. So it is not a function because it does not pass the vertical line test. All right. Now, just for the fun of it, let's try to write that in cursive. We'll get your English in here. Not a function because it does not pass the vertical line test. There we go. You can practice that. All right, let's go up to our last one. It says create a graph that has the following domain and range. All right, what I would suggest is let's go to -2 and let's draw our parameters. It cannot go beyond -2 on the x-axis. It cannot go past 3 over here. On our range, it cannot be lower than -4. And it cannot be greater than -5. All right. It can include -2 and -4. So the easiest thing to do, and I'm going to make this a blue graph, so I can put a solid dot right there because it does include -2 and -4. And it goes over to 3 but does not include 3. And it goes over up to 5 but does not include 5. So I would draw right here something like that. Now, it says create a graph. It does not have to be a function. If I want to draw a function, I would draw a straight line that looks like that. I could, if I wanted, I'm going to do it out here. As long as I didn't go beyond those 2 points, I could draw something like this. Of course, that would not be a function, because if I drew a vertical line, let's say through here. Look at that, it crosses here, crosses here, crosses here, crosses here, crosses here. That's way more than 1 point. But it just says draw a graph. So as long as it didn't go above this point, or to the right of it, or below this solid point, or to the left of it, we have drawn our graph. Be creative if you like, or draw something clear and easy to understand like I've done here.